Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. This is Bucket Ponds and my name is Terry. Today we are taking an updated look at my 1 gallon pond snail jar aquarium. Please like and subscribe, it helps me out a lot, and I just want to get that out of the way. But I have completely lost the build video for this tank. It should be on my channel somewhere, but I can't seem to find it. That's slightly embarrassing, but this is a 1 gallon pond snail aquarium. These pond snails I acquired from a dealer in Puerto Rico, and I had them shipped over, and they're just some of my beloved pets ever since then. We have them in a number of tanks, but in this particular aquarium, we don't have many plants. We have a little bit of duckweed, we have some algae at the bottom, and some dayflower, just that one stem right there. I have been feeding this tank with banana pieces and cucumber slices. Not a lot of food at one time, just a small piece here and there. But you can see the remnant of the last piece of cucumber they received, and of course they tear it to pieces. We have in here quite a few Paramecium, pond snails, and most notably our Tubifex worms, which are the main subject of this video. So we're going to go a little lower into the tank, and I have something I want to show you. These are my Tubifex worms. These are sludge worms. They form nice colonies. They cluster up together. They're very cool to watch. But I happened to pass by the aquarium the other day and I noticed some really unusual structures on my worms. You may see what looks like a puff on the end of the worm on their tail. I originally thought this was some kind of mold or fungus that was growing on the worms, but if you look closely, you'll see that the hood, that puff, will retract when they interact with another creature. It will pull back and then unfurl again. So, based on the few anatomical, the few drawings I've seen, and a little bit of research I've done, I think these are clusters of tentacles or mandibles of some kind. But I can't tell, and they appear to be on the back end of the worms. But yeah, I'm not a biologist, so we're just learning by watching them. But this really unusual puff has appeared on the ends of my worms, and I just had to record and to look at it. Like, this is very unusual. I've never seen this structure appear on any of my Tubiflex before. They seem to be waving these hoods or these tentacles, into the water, possibly trying to capture food or maybe even to breathe a little better. This is a low oxygen tank. Here's a better look, though. You can see that these hoods on the ends of the worms, they are quite uniform in structure, and they are mobile. This is definitely part of the worm's anatomy, and I have no idea exactly what they are. I believe it's for capturing food, but in this tank, that is a low oxygen tank, so it might help them breathe in some way. But it's definitely not used for, grasping onto substrate or anything, because they are clearly waving them around in the water column. And that pond snail just bumped into that worm and it completely freaked out. The snails don't seem interested in eating the worms, but I've noticed that in certain tanks, when times get really hard, snails will actually consume detritus worms. They'll eat tubiflex, they'll eat anything they can catch. So that's pretty interesting. But you can see here in another look, they're just all clung onto this rock and they're waving these hoods into the water column. I have no idea what's really going on here. There are, of course, thousands of Paramecium in the background and all throughout the tank. So, that's pretty normal for these types of projects when I build them. I do know that this tank has been running for several months now, without any kind of interruption. I just top up the water and I feed them about once a week, once every 2 weeks, depending. But the pets inside are really flourishing, and I've just never seen the worms exhibit this type of structure before. We've raised these worms for quite a while now, and we've never seen this. Looking a little higher up towards the surface, it's a bit dark in here, but you can see all the action and activity. This is where most of the snails reside, and you can see quite a few Paramecium up here as well. But they seem to be eating whatever little bits of cucumber are left over, and of course they're breeding and laying eggs and doing all the fun things that our snails do. But look at all this Paramecium, like there are so many in here. And it seems as though we found a nice balance for this tank between the three main species that are living inside of here. There's the pond snails, You can tell the difference between a pond snail and a bladder snail. One, by the direction of the shell coil. They actually coil on different sides. And one way I like to tell the difference is by the antenna. Pond snails have chubby little antenna. Bladder snails have long, skinny antenna. It's a bit simple, but it works to identify them. And here's a zoomed out look at the tank. We have a lot of action in here, and I'm very, very happy with this project. It kills me that I can't find the setup video. It's kind of weird. But the snails are very happy in here. Everything's living and thriving in their own way. You may see some of my projects in the background. I need to get in here and trim up some plants. And recently I lost one of my grow lights, so it caused some damage to the dayflower growing in the background there. But this tank has developed really nicely, and I'm happy to share it with you. But the main purpose of this video was to showcase those strange structures appearing on my Tubifex worms. So maybe you happen to know more about that stuff. Maybe you can help me out. If so, drop a comment or send me an email. I love to hear from other people involved in this hobby. And yeah, I need to learn. I need to know more about what's going on here. And this is very strange to me. So yeah, guys, I just want to show you this tank and talk for a minute about those Tubifex worms. Next week, I'll have a video about how to raise detritus worms, those little white worms that I've been somewhat known for. They're very easy to raise once you get started, and it's a lot of fun, actually, to raise up thousands of them in that little jar aquarium. But I'll be happy to share that with you. I just had to get this update video out. I've never seen these Tubifex doing things like this, and I needed to share it with you. So my name is Terry, this is Bucket Ponds. I'll have a new video next week about how to raise detritus worms, and we'll be setting up a new tank and everything. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.